Is that what you call it now?
Welcome to episode number 10 of the About the Cards podcast. Live tonight here on YouTube.
Double
as
digits.
Always, double digits. We're into our tens here. As always, with the host Ben Wilson at our trading cards, Stefan Loeffler at Junkwax Twins, and myself at Big Shep 79, Tim Shepler. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, and we hope to bring you in smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're on iTunes, and as well as you can follow us on YouTube. Please subscribe and review on all platforms. And we're gonna have a special announcement tonight at the end of the show regarding some of those follows and reviews and that kind of stuff. So pay attention, or if you want, fast forward ahead to the last few minutes of the show and cheat and then come back. Fellas, how are we doing this week?
Doing
Steph,
great.
Yeah, Steph, you doing well down there in Texas, staying nice and cool?
Collection's doing great. I've had some mishaps here and there, but you do what you got to do, right?
That's right. Life comes at you quick sometimes, and I feel that way. I don't like to. I told my wife, I said, I'm tired of adulting, and I'd like to be 12 years old again. So that's why we do this. But
we're 10.
Yeah, we're 10 right now. We're almost to 12. Ben, you're not muted tonight, bud.
I am not muted. So, yeah, I'm doing good. I think if we have a few minutes, maybe Tim and I can get into our adventure over the weekend. We went to a local card show together, and we weren't 10, we weren't 12, we were actually 8, since we were both born in 1979, and we busted some 1987 tops outside. So we got a couple of cool stories with the gum and some people who tried to get some money to get in. So maybe we'll get into that here in a bit.
Yeah, I do. I want to hop into that real quick as we get off here. It was a good show. We met up with Brian Bice at Bice Music on Twitter. What a great guy! Just super chill guy, and it was good to kind of hang out with him. We went had a quick bite before we went to the show. We got the show early. It started at 9, and we walked in a little before 8:30. And my favorite thing to do at this local show is because it's a lot of the same dealers every time, and it's probably once every quarter or so, maybe more often.
Every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. And so I always do a lap, and I look for wax, and I look for sets, and that's the first thing I do. I don't worry about singles or anything else. And I walked. Ben was over schmoozing some guys we know, Van the Man. He was talking to Eric, and I walked by a table, and they had 2 tops rack pack boxes. I opened the first one, it's 88 tops, no big deal. Open the second one, it's 87 tops, and nice. I'm trying to get a box of every tops production from 87, and all this, every set that was released that year, because that's the first year I collected, and I needed a rack pack box. So I was super happy. $15, and he had a set of 86 Donruss in really good shape, and that was like 20 something bucks, and I ended up walking away spending I think $25 or $30 for the pair. Ben, we didn't open that. We went and bought a half open box 87 tops, and went out to the front of the show a little bit later. And Ben and I were kind of doing little pack wars, but the packs were kind of sad. But the most exciting thing was the gum. It was almost brown, and it looked like it had cancer, and like brown spots all over it.
It was gnarly, and there was a few cards we were able to get. I mean, it was so bad it almost looked like the wax stain was on the front because the sugar had bled through the card, and and we peeled the first couple of sticks off, and then it got to be so bad. I mean, there was literally, we were trying to pry it off. We're like, yeah, we were like
through the card. It was crazy.
So we did pull who was it, Gary Gaetti?
A Gary Gaetti.
We got a little bit of the gum off. And
no. The gum was intact.
Is that intact?
It was a full stick, and it might be in a box on its way to Texas.
And so he has a 1 of 1. That was interesting to open up. I mean, it wasn't a complete box. It looks like a bunch of packs had kind of been
put together,
thrown in, because there was no McGuire, there was no Bonds.
We pulled the Bonds. There was no Bo, no McGuire, no
Bo.
We pulled Bonds and Canseco and 2 Larkins, but we had a lot of the same packs.
was quite a few. There was, you know, 3s and 4s of certain players, and a couple of big names, like we said, were missing. So, but it was fun to kind of geek out together for $15 or whatever it was, and be 8 years old. And while we were sitting out there, the design of the Holiday Inn or Crown Royal Plaza is, you know, it's kind of a banquet area right in the center of the lobby. And so they had a table out front that we were sitting open, and a couple guys walked up and they're like, "Do we have to check in with you?" And we're like, we weren't thinking, you know, we could have told them, "Yeah, no, $10.
Or
pay
eat
for our
this.
box."
That
There it
dude,
is.
that's what it looks like. Yep. That's the card. But
That's what you should have went with. Tell them $10 entry, or you have to eat this piece of gum.
Yeah, the guys wanted to pay us some money, and I was laughing. And you know, Becca was there taking submissions. You know, what's funny is I called Ben on Sunday and told him about it. So I looked in the rack pack boxes I hadn't, and I was like, man, you know, probably picked through. It was probably repacked or whatever, and it definitely was repacked. You know, all the packs were there, but I don't think they were the original packs, because I was just looking at the third card that I could see, because I didn't want to take all the packs out. But on the top of the third section on the rack packs, there were 3 Bows, 3 McGuires, a couple of Clarks, a couple of Canseco's, and a couple of Larkins. Like, all these packs were like legit, and the best cards were at the top. So I was really happy with my $15, you know, whatever, $10 purchase, whatever it ended up being when I bought the 2. But we had tons of fun. I mean, we ended up taking we went to the LCS afterwards and spent a few bucks there. And, you know, came home. I came home with a trunk full of stuff, as well as I came home with a whole carload of stuff today. If you didn't see my Twitter, I bought a bunch of stuff for $20. And, oh, there's the picture. Yeah, so it's you know, it was like 6 5,000 count monster boxes, like 3 plastic storage totes, a couple of paper box, you know, bankers boxes, and a couple loose boxes of stuff. So if you have a team you're looking for, hit me up, and I will send you all the singles from that team, and we can make some friends that way. But overall, I bought way too many cards the last like 2 weeks. Where the LCS now is like, oh, really happy when they walk in the door. So
Right.
Anyway, but guys, let's get into the last week, the week that was. We have 2 updates today. We have Tops Living from 2 weeks ago and Tops Living from last week. They're back up to date, fellas. They're made me so happy today. So happy. The hangover is over. Here we go. We're going to get into it. So we have a lot to cover. So Tops Living, week 22 was Sandberg, Fowler, and Puig, and it ranked number 19 out of the 23 weeks we've had so far. Sandberg led the way with a little over 7,000. He's the 22nd or 23rd most popular card. Dustin Fowler sold a little over 4,800. He was number 56, and Puig sold about 80 more than Fowler, and so he comes in at 54. It was not a real great week. You know, selling just under 17,000 cards. You know, Sandberg I expected a little more, I think, out of Sandberg, just with his popularity and the age of the collector when he was a star there. Mm-hmm. It really surprised me that Puig was that low, to be honest. He didn't even crack 5. I mean, he was, 120 some odd away from cracking 5,000. But what are your thoughts on that week from 2 weeks ago?
I'm not entirely surprised that Sandberg led the way. I'm kind of wondering with these lower 4,500, 4,800 numbers that interest isn't falling off. I'm not saying that is just a thought I had with the numbers seemingly to stay consistent. Spoilers for the week following.
Yep. Ben, what did you think? I mean, I know you weren't happy with Fowler getting picked.
My main concern, I know we went into this so we don't have to rehash it, about Fowler being the fourth A when there's plenty of other teams waiting for a second card, which is, a precursor to something else. But with Fowler, I just thought the timing was, curious with him having just been sent down. I do think, when you look at the overall number at around 16,000, 17,000 for an on-demand set where they're literally printing money, I think 17,000 a week is a solid number. I think this particular week's numbers are very indicative of what what we should look at going forward. We're probably going to see 7,000 to 9,000 on the marquee name, and with the other two kind of ranging in that 45 to 5,500 piece, respectively. And again, it just depends on the three. This wasn't the strongest three. I mean, I know Puig's got some fans. Fowler, having come over from the Yankees, who knows if he still had some Yankee fans. Sandberg's not the biggest name, that they're ever going to produce as far as a marquee Hall of Fame player, but
for a
overall,
Cub, he's got a big legend in Chicago, so that's why I was shocked it wasn't over around the 8,500 mark. But and then let's cover this last week, week 23. We had another Cub. We had Rizzo, a new Cub, Daniel Murphy, but he's in his Nationals uniform. And Willie, how do you say his last name? Adames?
I think so, yeah.
Willie Adames. Okay, so from the Rays. So Rizzo came in a little over 5,500. Card number 40. He's number 42 out of the 69 that have been released. Murphy came in a little over 4,500. He was down at 59, and Adames was just under 5,000. He's the 51st most popular card. So this was the 22nd ranked week out of 23. So this is the lowest ranked week since I think the second week. I'm pulling those numbers now, but it was really shocking. And we talked about how it was kind of a lackluster week last week when we got these names, and the Rizzo was not a good looking card. It was the only one that I think it's, just to be honest, the ugliest card they've had out there. Yeah, the second week this product was released, when you had Rhys Hoskins, Ian Happ, and Nick Markakis, you had 11,000 sold. So this sold 15,000, a little over 15,000, and was the second worst week they've had. So,
although that second week on the secondary market, we've noted before, is probably the most popular and expensive due to the fact that there's only 11,000 of those collectively.
I'm missing the Rhys from my rookie PC here, and I'm thinking I need to break down and pick one up. If you have one, let me know. Let's work out a deal. But it was just a disappointing week, and Murphy, I'm still upset a lot from last week, and how those was not just the three was just not three. There's other rookies you could have picked. I see you getting another Ray in there. Yeah, okay. But, the Rizzo and the Murphy, I don't know. Just kind of bland. So we're at a total print run right now of 559,166. So if you look at the retail income, say $8 a card, what they sell for, Topps has looked at just an estimate, but about 4.4 million. Just on selling this product so far.
Probably about 20 or 30% higher when you figure that it's not $8 a card. It's going to be a lot of 3 for 15s. Yeah. People buy, like Twins Jake buys in bulk, and there's a lot of sellers out there that do.
So this number is just an estimate, just to kind of give you an idea. So I mean, they're making a few million bucks on this set so far, or at least in gross profit, which it's good because it helps the bottom line when products. When they have a product like this that has been pretty popular, and I feel like it's getting a better following. The last 2 weeks a little lackluster. I think it's just with the players they selected, not necessarily the product itself.
Well, when you look at it from an economic standpoint, let's round down from 4.4 just to a cool even 4 million on the gross profit. If your overhead and margins are 50%, and this product has been out for 23 weeks. You've just put $2 million in net profits in the bank after all the bills are paid. Somebody's getting a raise. That's all there is to it. So whoever got this product out, definitely, and we don't know Topps, at least I don't know Topps' overall numbers, but man, this is definitely a winner on their book, regardless of what their overall margins are.
Yep. And then also last week we had 2018 Panini Unparalleled Football and 2017-18 Panini Crown Royal Basketball that came out, and that was it. It was a kind of a light week. So I want to hop into the hot off the presses, the new releases for this week. As always, we're going to lead off with Topps Living and what came out today. So listen, I hear you, Topps. Topps, you're listening to the show, and I appreciate it. Whatever employee is listening there, you know what? I'm sorry about last week. I know I got a little upset and got a little heated. My wife said she could hear me. She goes, "You got a little high pitch last week, and it sounded like your sister might have been in the room there doing the show."
Just Ben.
I want to give you a big hug. I want to give you a really big hug right now because, one, the stats for last week came out on time, so we could talk about it on our show. That's just a little selfish part on me. But even more selfish, card number 70, Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson, outfielder, Kansas City Royals, the second Royal after Mr. Alex Gordon, I think week 3 or 4. Card number 71, Jake Arrieta, former Cub, pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, the fourth Philly. And card number 72, Derek Rodriguez, rookie pitcher, San Francisco Giants, the second Giant since week 1 when we had Joe Panic, who I don't have because I didn't hop on the train the first week, and now the card's like $300. But they got a Giant and a Royal in the same week.
Ex-twin. Give me 1.5.
So thank you.
It's showing that, whether they're listening to the show or not, if they are, hey, high tops. But if what's nice is it's showing that they're going to hopefully catch up a couple of the teams that have kind of fallen behind. And, who knows? I mean, only the next few weeks are going to tell. But it's nice to see a Giant and a Royal because those are the second cards each. It was and seeing Bo, the Bo card's fantastic. So for Bo to be a part of that, is really nice. And Arrieta's going to kind of pull from a couple of different markets. I think you're going to have maybe some ex-Cub fans, but the Phillies. Yeah, I think that one will sell probably in the $6,000 to $7,000 range this week.
I don't think he hits 5,000.
You really just because that's the starting pitcher?
Yeah, I think Derek Rodriguez, and then it's Hall of Fame Ivan Rodriguez's son, kind of an underknown guy, just kind of came up this year with the Giants, and I didn't even know he was in the farm system, to be honest. I think he's a former Twin prospect. Bo's going to blow everybody out of the water. Bo's going to hit. He's going to hit over 8,000-9,000. I'm going to say he's 8,500. You're going to see Arrieta under 5, and you're going to see Derek under 5, but he'll beat Arrieta by a couple of cards.
That's a fair prediction. I mean, you're probably right. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, of course.
Be interesting to see what Bo does, just because he does have a lot of. He's a very unique player because of the two-way and the injury and what could have been, and there's so many great Bo Jackson stories out there. He was just a remarkable specimen. It'll be kind of interesting to see. He's probably the only card I've picked up that wasn't an A so far was Bryce Harper, which I did live while we were on this show. I hopped on my phone and picked one up a few weeks back. Bo Jackson's probably the only other one I would consider adding so far, with the exception of Jackie Robinson or Hank Aaron, which I haven't picked up. But that's just probably the Oakland Raider fan in me.
Yep. Well, real quick, the teams that still only have one card: the Arizona Diamondbacks, Chicago White Sox, Cincinnati Reds, Colorado Rockies, Detroit Tigers, Minnesota Twins, and Texas Rangers. So, we have
losing teams and some surprises.
Yeah,
let's get our Shoeless Joe Jackson card next week.
Yeah, him and Pete Rose.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Shoeless Joe, Pete Rose, and what other
Gary Gaetti.
Gary Gaetti. I was trying to think what other guy got kicked out of baseball from one of these teams that we could throw in there, but
there hasn't been a suspension since the 1940s outside of Pete Rose, I don't think.
Yeah.
We'd be digging deep.
Reggie and
Mantle. Oh, yeah.
Well, if you want to talk about Willie, I mean, I'm talking about people that are still currently, Mantle and Mays were temporarily suspended for a year, but, guys that are still suspended with lifetime bans outside of Pete Rose, I think the next one would have been back in the 40s, I believe. Yeah.
Well, we do have 7 teams that have 4 cards: the Braves, Red Sox, Cubs, Dodgers, A's, Phillies, and Nationals. And the Yankees. The Yankees, of course, leading the way with 5. We're up to 7 retired players. Bo is the only second non-Hall of Famer besides Jeter on this list. The rest of the retired guys are Hall of Famers, and Jeets will be in there at one point. Unfortunately, Bo's career was not long enough. And we're up to 19 rookies now because they weren't doing this consistently, but they're up to a rookie a week now, which is pretty cool. I think they kind of changed their thoughts on that to plug some more rookies, which is always nice. You get a vet, a rookie, and a vet, a retired player. It's kind of what they've been on the roll with lately.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle the next 6 weeks. With Michael Kopech being a very high profile call up, but you're going to start to see, possibly Vladimir Guerrero, some other guys here in September. So starting September 1st, it'll be kind of interesting.
Yep. And hey, Steph, let me know what twin do you want? Mauer?
There's some talk this week since Mauer has refused to talk contract extension all season long, instead of wanting to focus on each individual game as they come, which entirely I get. That's just his way of doing it. It's not a slight against the Twins, and it's not a contract negotiation, whatnot. That's just the way he rolls. There was some discussion whether he retires at the end of the year. He doesn't have much to prove for Minnesota. We're not going to be a contender in the next, 2 years, give take. Yeah, sure. The men in the front office could sign him to an extension or even a new contract at the end of the year, 1, 2 year, 20, 30, 40 million, whatever. But I'd be curious to see whether he actually does.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not run him out, put him out there, give him a twin, give us 2, call it a legend if you have to. But who else do we have? I mean, we traded a good chunk of our major core staff. I mean, yeah, you could go with a veteran like Puckett or Killebrew, Carew.
Having seen Bo Jackson, maybe Puckett will be the next twin.
At the rate they're going, I'll actually have to buy one.
Yeah, I'm excited though. I think that hopefully this is on the right track, and maybe we'll get some of these one-card teams some more love. I just find it interesting some of the rookies they're picking, But hey, it's interesting to me. But moving on, so 2018 Panini Origins football came out, Topps Inception football, even down to the 00 numbers on some of the players. Sam Darnold, which is weird. This is $99 a box. You're going to get 1 pack per box, 7 cards. You're going to get an auto. You're going to get an auto jumbo, a jumbo patch auto, and 1 mem card. There's a 100-card vet base set, and then cards 101 through 140 are rookie jumbo patch autograph set, so it's their card. There are 5 colored parallels and a Nike 1-of-1 swoosh. The weird thing about this, fellas, and I want your thoughts after this, Lamar Jackson. So when he was going through the draft process, he didn't answer his phone. He didn't visit teams. Like, they couldn't find him or get a hold of him. Panini had a hard time at one point getting to talk to him to sign cards and stuff pre-draft. They didn't get an arrangement with him. So in this set, he has all of his cards are lower numbered compared to the rest. So the base parallel, or the red parallels at a 25, or the red parallels at a 99 or 75, kind of depending on the player. His is at a 25. The blue parallel's at a 49. His is at a 10. The turquoise is at a 25. His is at a 5. The gold is at a 10. His is at a 3. The green's at a 5. He's at a 2. So you're looking, he's 50, 80, 100, and give or take 110 cards less than, say, Josh Rosen or Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. And is it because he wanted so much per autograph they had to pull him back? What do you guys think?
I thought you were going a different route on this. Wanting to talk about the 101 through 140 being an auto part of the quote-unquote base set.
We'll get back to that, but I just want to get to Lamar Jackson being completely different than the other guys. I mean, I think it has to do probably dollar per signature, but also, 2, does it make him more collectible?
Oh, absolutely. You see this with quite a few products. Panini does this quite regularly with Optic. You'll have your Donruss base and Optic. You'll have parallels, the stat lines and career lines, which are specifically serial numbered to the player. And then you'll see, National Treasure will have certain player out of 5 or 10, while the other base cards are out of 99. So it's literally creating a false market of a certain, Lamar Jackson, we know is out of the 5 first-round quarterbacks, probably the least collectible as of day one, just because he was the only one that was not considered a first-round pick, unilaterally. Definitely not considered for the number 1 overall pick. Was never in the discussion. Snuck back into the bottom of the first round.
He was picked 32.
Yeah, so his light is a little less. I mean, he's also in a situation, unlike some of the other guys, where Joe Flacco is there, former Super Bowl winner. Despite the fact that I got blasted by a Ravens fan this week on Twitter by saying, something about Lamar Jackson being the future and Joe Flacco's garbage, and this guy just lit me up thinking that Joe Flacco was the second coming of Joe Montana and John Elway's love child.
Yeah, I'm just right now. Flacco's done after this year. He's not a.
Oh, absolutely. But just that contract and the fact that he didn't win a Super Bowl, Anquan Bolden and that defense did. But from a collectible side, this is going to create a different market for him compared to the other 4. But this is not something that's new to Panini. But whether or not it had something to do with the signatures, the timing, or it was all by design, it very well could have been that we're going to make one of these guys a little rarer.
But why not pick Mayfield, the number 1 pick in the draft,
or Barkley, or
Saquon? Anyway,
it's tough to say.
Yeah, Steph, what are your thoughts?
So no, I do kind of agree. It's kind of hard to know what goes beyond their thought process without actually talking to Tracy and the people at Panini. However, it's really kind of curious. It's definitely going to be more collectible if he turns out to be somewhat decent. My question is, so if you lower the numbers for the parallels that he has, why are you using the same color for, like, for example, the red number to 25? Why are you using red when 99 to 75 are the rest of the reds in the set?
Yeah.
Or the green when you have out of 5, such a low number to go down to 2. Come on.
Right.
So it's just weird to me, but also too the fact that there are no base rookie cards, and I know this is not a base set, but the rookie cards are jumbo patch autos. Like technically in the set they're numbered, and there was other it was crazy because like going on to another release, like all their stuff was numbered and all on their own. It just kind of drove me bonkers that they weren't separate. Yeah. But
Panini Immaculate does the same thing. They're some of their jumbo autos are numbered 130.
Yeah,
you could because they have base cards which are all numbered out of 99 this year with parallels of 25 and 10 and whatnot. But the jumbo patches, you're turning it over thinking it's going to be PI-MO Panini Immaculate Matt Olson, for instance, and you turn it over and it's card 130, and it's like okay then. They
have 10 autograph sets in here and 5 mem sets, which is good. It's a limited number, and some of the autographs were good. I saw some of this today at the LCS, and I did watch a couple breaks. Man, the patches of it popping out of this. There was a Kerryon Johnson I saw. I got to hold it, and it was all 4. It was the blue, silver, black, and white. So it was 4 colors, and it's like bursting out. It was really, really sharp. The cards look good. If you remember Topps Inception, that's what it is. It's that thicker card stock. Kind of has that kind of artist look to it. Good looking cards. Some of my favorite. This product every year, it comes out to $100 a box. Halfway through the season, it can almost double in price. It's one of those sets that holds its value, at least for the first year or so. As we know, football doesn't tend to completely hold its value for a long, long period of time. All of it, but this one will hold throughout. If you can find the box, hop on it, because then this. I heard there was some allegation things with this product, as always. When something's popular, pick it up, take a look at it, get in a break. Some good stuff there. We also had today 2018 Panini National Treasures Collegiate Football came out. $375 a box. You get 1 pack, 8 cards per pack, 6 autographs or relics, 1 base and 1 quote additional card. It's a 25 card base set. There's 10 autograph sets. Some of the cool ones were combo player signature booklets and collegiate and rookie silhouette signatures. There's also 10 memorabilia sets and the laundry tags. The laundry tags that are going to come out of this are going to be great. We've talked before, collegiate when you're talking about NFL guys, but man, there's these college guys that are hungry. And, I know Mayfield's hot. Oklahoma's got a good following, but, the Bama guys, so Calvin Ridley, USC, have all those. So What do you think about them releasing a collegiate product, almost at $400 a box?
It's comparably, it's kind of like Team USA, especially with the inclusion of the collegiate players. It's kind of a huge amount to give for collegiate players, especially when some of them might flame out. Now, it depends on who they select for the set, obviously. If you have just quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs, I can see it being a huge hit. But if you got linebackers and you've got defensive ends, sack specialists, it's gonna be hard to justify spending. What was it, $375 a box?
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you this. So the base set, just to kind of give you an idea, you have Rogers, Barry Sanders, Favre, Ballsworth's in there. He's going to probably be in some more products this year because he was at the National for Panini at their VIP show. Tebow, Brady, some of the rookies they have here. Let's see. I'm scrolling through here to find a few. So yeah, it's all the quarterbacks, the running backs.
Okay.
That's all the basically what it is. It's all the rookie premier guys.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's those 40 guys that are in there. So all the fantasy guys, So I mean, there's some kind of stinkers. I mean, Simi Cobbs Jr.'s in there. He went to Indiana, and he's at Washington, and he went, I think, undrafted. So. JT Barrett, Ohio State's got a good following, and Ohio State guys love him. But he was a rookie free agent to the Saints.
But not every player can be a big player.
Yeah, so. Well, not all the guys. So, and also too, I take it back. So, not all the guys were rookie premier guys because I doubt the JT was down there. But it's Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton. All those guys are in that set. So
it's probably a great product, especially for we've talked about this on a past show. There's a lot of cities, states, like Nebraska, for instance, that doesn't have a professional team in any four sports. So Nebraska is their baseball, football, basketball, and hockey team. That's their professional team. They're diehard. But the thing is, I like Steph said, the price point's going to be really tough to swallow. If this product was $140, $160, I could see it. But when you double that, even 2.5 times that, now all of a sudden. Yeah, I mean, as long as your return is good, if you get good value, but
the best thing is hopping a random,
Right.
That's what I would say, or buy it on the secondary market. Don't be the one to buy the box. Buy it on the secondary market because you're not going to get your $375 back unless you hit a Mayfield. And if you hit a Mayfield, awesome, you're going to double your money. But be realistic.
There's a lot of Panini high-end products like National Treasures being one that. You're going to have to pick and choose your players and your teams on the secondary market because you're not going to be able to drop $400, $500, $600, $700. We were at the LCS the other day, Tim, and you saw that box of the mint for
the mint
$700.
We should have bought it.
He's like, you should buy it. I'm like, I got enough money for the box and the wrapping, but it's like if there was something for the Royals or A's out of that product, we would be much better off going on eBay. Not as fun, but. We already had opened our box at 87 tops. And that was our fun. Yeah. Now you're talking about stupid things. That's just not in our price range. Maybe for other people.
I like that you bring up stupid things because it leads me to our next product coming out this week. And I could be wrong.
Panini Chronicles, right?
2018 Panini Chronicles baseball. And maybe I don't get it. And so there's some. It might look different this year. I don't know. I guess these are some insert. But last year it was like a word dump. I think they were getting. It looked like the back of a 1980s, late 80s scorecard on the front of the card though. No, it's $90 a box. You're getting 6 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. You're gonna get 3 autos, a mem, and 2 Spectra base cards. So it's a good value. So. I could just be a total jackass and be wrong about it, but this is what it is. I'm waiting to see. It comes out Friday. It's not been released yet. So I will watch some breaks. Hell, I might even buy into one and buy the Royals.
Here's a good analogy
get the cards.
For last year.
Yeah.
Baseball card collecting is like
Google. That's a good looking card.
Right.
Panini Chronicles is like reading an encyclopedia instead. The product seems so archaic. There was a lot of writing. I got all the A's cards. and I did not, so much as I cataloged them and stuck them in a binder, I did not read all that stuff. But this year's, they look a lot better. It's an upgrade considerably. I do think Panini, Stefan might have different thoughts on this. I think this is it. If Chronicles does well this year, they'll bring it back for 2019. I doubt it did very well last year because it was kind of a horrendous product. So I think this is going to be it. That's why they upgraded it. But honestly, I think this is more of a $60 to $70 product at a box, not a $90 product.
Well,
I think
you're getting 3 autos, a mim. That right off the bat, that's a 4 quote hits.
It's unlicensed.
Yeah.
And the autos are most likely going to be stickers, probably all of them. I would imagine. Panini is known for that. So
just from the mock-up images, I'd say yes.
Yeah,
this looks to be the base. It's better than it was last year for sure.
No, the front looks good, but I bet on the back of that Aaron Judge card that you're showing right now on screen, I bet there's a catalog, probably small print, probably a ton of stuff.
And for you guys that aren't here, just to give you an idea, it was a big. Can you go back to that stuff? It's like a plain white card with 99 up in the corner for Judge, a small outfield. 99's in the Yankee navy blue. It's a picture of him looking like he's swinging. It says Slugger Star does it all. It has Chronicles. It has his name. It's kind of a generic look to it. The other thing here is I know Steph just showed another card. If he wants to bring that back up, this is going to cover new and old brands. Panini's the 2018 Panini Chronicles lineup is loaded with choices, and here we go. This is one of the inserts. So they're going to have classics, contenders, cornerstones, crusade, illusions, limited, optic, phoenix, prestige, prism, revolution, rookies and stars, score, select, spectra, status, and studio, all in some of these boxes.
It's like they went to the flea market or Goodwill of old products and go like, "Hey, Chronicles is coming up. What are the last 15 products that were garbage?"
I think, to be honest, I think it's 19.
Good gosh. Oh boy.
So you know what though? That scorecard you showed looked legit. By the way, it's got a pink border. It's got score. It looks very similar to the football this season. If you guys have opened 2018 score football, which I think is a really underrated product, by the way, if you like their collegiate stuff and you want it cheap, is really good. So
if you have $100 to spend, you probably could do worse. Yeah. But you probably could do better. It's probably a fun open, especially with there being so many variations.
Well, if you have a friend you like and you want to, split it 45-45,
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
And this set in particular, I know that it did pretty well at retail. I think my only real complaint was I think you got 4 packs with 5 cards, and it seemed like every other blaster had a relic of some sort, which isn't bad for retail. I will say that much. But it's 4 packs, 20 cards total. I think you got like a parallel of some sort. I got a Griffey numbered to 999. It's not a product for everyone, even on the cheap end. But I really like that score, especially the bottom line and borders.
It is a really good looking design. I don't know how much I like the pink. I think that would be better if that pink would have been.
Well, I'm curious if it's team dependent.
That's what I was going to say. If it was blue for the Dodgers and red for the Reds, I think it would be a lot better. But
right.
Yeah, I think that if you've got $90 to spend and you want a fun open, I think it would probably be pretty fun to open, especially if you're a team collector or a player collector. But I think if you're looking to put sets together, it may not be the right product because it seems like there's going to be a ton of subsets and inserts
there's to go over. It's a 60 card base set with 7. Each of the base cards has a parallel. There's over 20 autograph sets. I stopped counting after 20. That's as many fingers and toes as I have.
Right.
I mean, I could count.
And you're probably going to end up with 8 autos of the same guys.
I could
count. I want to know how you're going to count to 21.
Yeah. There's 6 min sets, and there's 19 insert sets. So people talk about flagship with bloat. Going to leave it there, 19 insert sets. Anyway, take it or leave it. I think, it's going to be one of those things you're going to go in and one day you're going to, I want to break something different. I got $100. Let me get that.
Yeah, just curb your enthusiasm, curb your expectations, have fun with it.
Yeah, that was a crappy show. Next week, what's brewing for next week? 2018 Diamonds Icon Baseball is supposed to come out this week, got pushed back to next. That comes out next Wednesday. 2018, hold on, fellas. 1819 Panini contenders.
About the tards.
Panini contenders draft pick basketball. We're gonna have this year's draft class. But guess what?
Say it ain't so.
But guess what? We're still going to get last year's draft class coming up here in a couple of weeks. So don't worry about it, dog. We're still going to get that 17-18 product we need. Get there, more.
Woo!
Pretty bad.
What this is you getting your appetizer literally as the waiter or waitress dropping your food off. No,
this is you getting your dessert while your steak is still then your steak comes, it's all backwards, you know.
That way you could go mozzarella stick, you could go steak, and you can go cheesecake all in the same bite.
Yeah.
If you want.
You take that mozzarella stick, dip it on cheesecake. There you go. And then I'm not sure about this, but this sounded interesting. 2018 Leaf History of Baseball Cut Signature Edition comes out next Friday, end of the month. So get those government checks and get some Leaf History baseball cut sigs. So I'll be interested to see what that looks like.
It's amazing how many cut signatures still exist of all of these dead players.
Yeah, I mean, right. how many like what happens when our guys die and that we didn't have checkbooks? You know, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The brew autos.
Hey, and I saw something funny talking about printing. Somebody on Twitter posted 2013 triple play was like $5.94 on at Dave and Adams or something, and somebody goes, "Hey, I think Panini's still printing these for repack boxes. This shit is never gonna go away." And I thought it's funny because you still see it everywhere. And
I actually have almost a near master set, so if you have some, let me know.
Of course you do.
There's a few that I need left over.
Oh, yeah, and I want to show. Speaking of like stickers and sets like that, so when we were at the show this last week, there was an old dealer that used to have a shop here in Sacramento, and he's closing everything out. For $5, he gave me two 1982 sticker books that are brand new and a full sealed flipping box on here. And it says, "Mr. Dealer, for extra profits, order the Topps baseball sticker album from your wholesaler." And all over it tells you how to like take them out. And I haven't opened this yet. I should have bought both of the boxes he had.
Probably should have.
He had some good stuff. I picked up a 1981 Topps traded set for $5.
No. I spent $5 better than that.
Well, yeah, but I needed the 81, and honestly, I was overlooking at another dealer. I picked up a 1980 Topps rookie for $10, and you walked over to me and go, "Hey, guy has a graded 85 McGuire," and I don't collect graded, but I do have one which is graded an 8, and I'm like, all right, I've got one graded, cool, whatever. And so, but it's one of those things, you're at the show, it's so hard to pass up. I walked over there and I said, "What do you want for it?" And he's like, $15. I'm like, done. Yeah, I didn't see any raw, so that was the only 85 McGuire I picked up there, although Tim did have two for me.
Yes. Well, I picked up for $5 from the same dealer, a Magic and Bird rookie for $5. They were in Dr. J. It was perforated, but it was $5. I don't have one. I picked it up. Why are we looking at Mickey Hatcher?
Because if Ben wants to break apart that 81 Topps traded set, I'm just saying, I know somebody that might be interested in the Mickey Hatcher.
Why do you need one?
It looks like that, yeah.
Well, I need the whole set, so I need the Mickey Hatcher too.
No,
even though he was part of the '88 Dodgers World Series team, wasn't he? I
think so. Yeah, took his big glove to better places.
So we want to move on to infield chatter. I'll be talking. We've been a little all over the place, and Ben and I have been doing a little bragging. But it's been fun.
Mine's bigger. What?
So the first thing I want to bring up is 2018 Topps Archives Baseball. So the hobby the retail came out about a week ago, and I picked up a little blaster today. First time I saw it in the wild. Picked it up. I hit a Hercules Sandlot card out of here. I'm going to build that set because I have the other two sets that came in the movies. A couple of Reese Hoskin rookies. Nothing really else to talk about. But I noticed, so I looked up and I said, "Man, when's Hobby coming out?" Because this stuff's cool. I enjoy it. October 24th.
Mhm.
They pushed it back
So
further. We were going to talk about this last week when it happened. And they pushed it back
it's still 2
another
months
month.
away, dog.
Yeah.
2 months. Why?
So
Money.
yeah, retail released last week, and they pushed Hobby back a month, which means sometime in mid-September. They did not announce a day, and now they have, and it's called not September but October. So yeah, I asked Brent Williams and Ryan Cracknell on. Well, actually, I asked Ryan Cracknell with Becky. I said, "Hey, when's the last time you can think of where a retail product released not 3 days early, but literally a month?" And he said, "I don't know if it's ever happened." So he's like, "Why don't you ask Brent Williams?" So Brent hops in there and he goes, "Never." And so you have two of the Mount Rushmore of icons within this hobby, as far as I'm concerned. Two people that are very, very smart and experienced in the hobby.
Encyclopedias.
Yeah, and they're both saying they don't recall a time that this has ever happened. It's just kind of curious. It's interesting because here's the thing. I already, and I buy all my stuff on the secondary market. I've already bought my team set from Brent. I've already bought one of the two fan favorite autos that are in there for the Oakland A's. And another one closes tomorrow. And I'm only looking for two more Mark McGwire parallels. So you're going to have a lot of people like me. And granted, I'm not buying a hobby box off the shelf, but you're going to have a lot of people that are going to pick up so much out of retail that by the time hobby comes out, you've already cut off a lot of the market that aren't going to be interested. I mean, Brent already bought so much retail. He's already sold all of his team sets to all of his normal customers
On the way.
So yeah, I mean, it's he's not going to probably buy any hobby. Why would he?
But Mike, but so I was listening to Mojo Break today, and they were talking about this, and they were like, and we see there's a lot of autos coming out of this, right? Did they make retail so hot they ran out of autos to put in the product?
Who knows? I mean, are you going to be making mystery autos and usually when you see a retail hobby split, you do see the fact that they hold back a few autos.
But it's the same. But the base cards are the same, so that's my question. It's not like they're going to be different base cards, right?
No, and that's the thing is you're going to have to add. You almost have to add a new checklist of autos to put in there if they haven't packed this stuff out yet. And I get Topps, had said at the National that they're pushing back. Triple Threads has moved back multiple times. Museum moved back before it released specifically to try to limit redemptions.
And I'm okay with that on those higher end products.
On this, though, I mean, Archives, this is the latest I've seen Archives come out. If you look at the Topps checklist, and I know I'm not saying anything that most collectors listening probably already know is, Flagship comes out, and then you start to do the opening day, and progressively as you work towards Christmas, the products get more expensive.
Well, it comes out after update.
Hit driven. And so, yeah, Archives, unless I'm mistaken, in the past, it seemed like it was more of like a May release.
No, it's usually like early summer. I want to say like May, June.
Yeah, May, June, somewhere in there. And now it's in October, so it's right in the thick of the Diamond Icons and the probably Panini Flawless coming out and Panini National Treasures and what's the other big one? 5-Star. You're talking about a bunch of high-end expensive products, and you're going to have an Archives that's 60 days after retail.
Yeah, but it's also, like I said, the week after Flagship. So, there's a lot of guys that drop some coin on update, and it comes out the week after that. So it's just kind of interesting.
You look at Brent Williams, what would he buy? 30 cases, 20 cases of hobby Archives? And you're talking about he's going to be in the thick of update, listing update, sorting update. He's already bought so much retail and sold to all of his customers. Tim, you've bought your team set. I've bought my team set. We're out. So whatever he opens out of hobby, he's not going to come to us because we've already bought that product. And we're probably amongst a long list of people he's already sold to.
I did like the little coins that came in here, though, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those two definitely.
It's a nice throwback.
You get two little coins in here, and I pulled Bryant and McCutcheon. And McCutcheon's probably not going to be a giant any longer after today, this week. But, no, not too bad. No, it was a good break. I've always been a fan. And the one year that they had the box toppers with the Karate Kid guys was at 13? 12 or 13? Man, I remember buying those boxes early on, and then they exploded in value. I wish kind of wouldn't open one of them. Could have doubled up on my money, but it's always a fun product. Fun to open and look back at the old designs. Well, I just think it's weird. I just think it might hurt the sales of those boxes. And hell, we might be the beneficiary of it to go in and pick them up. Late October, early November, they're not moving. So. I do want to move on to another topic we talked about, and I sent a little heated tweet last week about tell me about scammers, and we'll be a real podcast that's not chill or an infomercial. And somebody said, well, hey, I watched your show and you talk about new products. And yeah, we do talk about new products, but it's to inform collectors. So I'm just gonna be right out in front on this. So one of our best listeners and somebody I've dealt with for almost a year now on Twitter and done tons of trades and purchases back and forth between each other as Jenny Miller, and we've talked about her on the show before as one of our followers. One of the people follow on Twitter, Jenny Miller 521, and she was called out by Ivan of the GTS podcast about being a scammer, and it went back and forth. It was based on that she's only not been on a year, and she has a lot of sales and these dime and nickel sales and all this stuff, and it really pissed me off because I went to bat for her and he kind of stepped back a little bit, kind of retracted back on it somewhat throughout the end of last week. But I just it kind of brought up the thing we've had a lot more discussion about scammers, on Twitter lately, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. Just real quick on Jenny if you want, and then just scammers in the hobby and how we need to out these people.
So I've known Ivan since, let's see, 2013 or so. He's pretty reasonable, but he's been known to stick his foot in his mouth occasionally. And he would normally step back and say, hey, that was a misstep. I apologize. I understand. And short of directly saying that in this instance, I tagged his initial reply to Jenny saying that, well, but you're just a fresh account. You don't post pictures of yourself. You only post 10-cent sales. How do we know you're not a scammer? And I said, Ivan, maybe she's self-image conscious, doesn't like pictures of herself out there. That's a thing. Maybe that's all she has is junk wax. Why are you going to shun that collector from the hobby who's providing something that people like?
Well, look at us. We're nothing to look at. What does it matter what you look like?
These criteria that are common for people that are scammers, you're doing. Well, okay, so you're common for giving away giveaways. Now, I'm not saying that you never mail your stuff. And I'm not saying that your giveaways aren't just to try to gain followers or try to give back to the community. But you can also hit some of the other criterias here. Now, I'm not defending Jenny. From all accounts, she's been a great addition to the hobby. But that was such a misstep in Ivan's a huge misstep from his normal MO.
Yeah, just take it back. Just say, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, she's not been on there, and maybe, I don't know. It's just frustrating because when we made, I was the first one, I guess, that made a Twitter trade with her, right? And she sent me like legit. I still have it over here, a full page letter, kind of explaining what card collecting means for her. And she shared this story before on Twitter, and I'm not gonna share it here now, but it's really personal. And I can totally understand. And card collecting means different things to all of us. And one, I've said it makes me feel like a 12-year-old boy again. And I like a kid, the pressures of the real world and stuff. And you do this, and I do this for fun, and I love it. It takes me back to a time where I spent a lot of time with my dad, who's no longer here. And so I have those memories, and it's great. And the thing is there's a lot of people on Twitter that we all could call out on certain things that we don't truly know. We don't know them. But that's me. I'm not gonna go, hey, at X, Y, and Z is a scammer because I saw this, and they're new to Twitter or whatever. And also too, some people don't understand how the community kind of works. And
Right.
but when someone with that kind of it'd been different, I think, if it had just been some average Joe collector, but not somebody that has the hobby's #1 web show,
Right.
out there calling her out. So I don't know. And then I asked, and I got some feedback about people like, hey, I made trades with this guy, not getting it back. And I know that I think it was Ben. We shared some stories about scammers and stuff. So I kind of want to get into that now. Like, what are your thoughts on scammers and like, putting it out there, and that JMac was the one kind of about, oh yeah, I just say I never got it. It's a plain white envelope and all that fun stuff.
I want to chime in real quick on Jenny, because
Okay.
I full disclosure, I have Ivan blocked. I don't like him personally, but that's trivial at best. So I didn't get to see any of this stuff firsthand. So I don't want to make this about Ben attacking Ivan because he can't, defend himself in private. So it's just in general. If you have, I'm part of a Facebook scammers group, and I don't know how many. I know they've got like 30,000 people on there where people call out, but you have to have evidence. That's the one thing. You can't just say, oh, Stefan's a scammer because Ben said so. No, I've got to have proof. I've got to have text messages, et cetera, et cetera. Which I think is fair, because you can't just unilaterally say, oh, XYZ is a scammer because it looks curious. I felt bad for Jenny because I consider her a friend. She sent me a package in the mail a couple weeks back, some Oakland A's cards, because it was my birthday. And I just sent her some Miguel Sano cards because we were at the LCS last week, and I was going through a quarter box, and they had a ton of them. And I knew that they didn't need to be sitting in that box there. They should be sitting in her home, because that's where they should belong, right?
Right.
And so I felt bad because, without going into all the details of some of the tweets that she had sent out, she had to defend herself, her character. She had to mention where she got a job, and that she was background checked, and that she, personal lifestyle choices that she has. And it's like, well, wait a minute, this isn't what the hobby's about. If you want to share that information, like the letter she gave you, Tim, fine. That's a private letter between the two of you.
Right.
Nobody else needs to know the details of that letter, because it's none of their business. Otherwise, she or you would make it such, right? We don't need to show our faces, because that's not what the hobby is about. All we need to do is be trustworthy and transparent and have integrity. That's what's matter. I don't care what she looks like. I don't care what color her skin is, what personal preferences she has in her life, what part of the country she lives in. It's none of my business. All I care about is, hey, you collect, I collect. We can trade, we can buy and sell. If you have my money, I was mentioning to Heather, I was like, hey, I got to drop this package off to Jenny. And I said I meant to drop it off on Monday. Now, I would have made it a priority if she would have paid for it, because now I have her money.
Yeah.
And now this belongs to her. We've been joking about the fact that I've had these cards for Stefan for years now, sitting in my garage collecting dust. It's different. There was never an exchange of money. And if Stefan's like, hey, you want to send those to me? I absolutely would have made a priority to get to the store or to the post office. That's all. It shouldn't matter. And shame on anyone for calling somebody else out without having evidence. So that's kind of
I luckily I've made probably about 50 to 100 trades on Twitter, and I luckily haven't had any scammers yet. Not that would matter anyway. I sent 2 cards and you sent 1 back, whatever. However, at the same time, we don't know what people are going through. Some people might be fine trading 1 week, and then all of a sudden their car breaks down. Their parent has an emergency heart surgery. Well, they can't get a package out because they're in the hospital and they're dealing with a car damaged.
Right.
You never know. Communication is key. If you think you're being scanned, ask someone who they've traded with before. Say, hey, is this common or is this out of the normal? Go to the person directly and say, hey, you said you were going to mail it. I'm not rushing you. Is it coming? Is it not? What's going on? Do I have to wait a little longer? Fine. I don't care. Whatever. So be it. Communication would go a long way. And, like Ben said, the issue did get blown out a little bit, and yeah, sure. It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, brown, green, purple. Well, maybe the last two, but we're in this for a hobby. Let's keep it friendly, trade about each other if we can, and keep it moving around.
I made a trade with a guy named Brian. You can find him at B Dills Jr. BDILZJR. And he had some McGuire's, and he's like, hey, you interested? And we were starting to talk about a couple bucks. It wasn't expensive. I'm like, hey, he's like, I collect the Red Sox and Nolan Ryan. I'm like, I ended up accidentally picking up an extra 1978 Topps Nolan Ryan at the LCS. I was just kind of grabbing a bunch when I was putting together my 79 set, and somehow 278s made it into my stack, and I bought two. And I said, I'll trade you. And he's like, what do you want to do, a straight up trade? I'm like, yeah, let's just do a trade. You got 3 McGuire's and I got a Ryan. Ryan's probably valued a little bit more, but who cares? And
check that book price.
Yeah, we were talking, and he's like, well, what do we want to send these in? Bubble mailer or PWE? And we both agreed on a PWE both ways. And we were very clear. We're both sending these out in the next day or two in a PWE so that there was no secrets, no, I'm shortchanged. Both items arrived safely, and we were both happy with our end of the trade. It wasn't about, a monetary exchange. But the communication was solid for both parties. We both knew what we were getting. We both knew how we were shipping it, so there were no surprises. And good Twitter trade in the books. And I think that's what it really comes down to. You see it all the time. Scammers, a lot of eBay stuff going on because eBay. People are now videotaping opening packages and sending packages back because eBay will return anything, which sets up all of us for liability. You sell something, do you sell it on eBay because there's a good chance somebody can scam you out of it? And, my main recommendation from what I've learned through the Facebook scammers group, which I just joined as a way to kind of entertain myself when I'm on Facebook because it is kind of funny, some of the stuff. The biggest concern and bitch is people send money, friends, and family. And it's like, how stupid can you be? There's a very short list of people that I send friends and family. And outside of the two of you guys, it's my dad and Brent Williams. But I've sent so much money to Brent and so many good completed deals. I trust him. I know he's not going to scam me. But I send everything else goods. Protect yourself. Ask for recommendations. Hey, I'm about to make a trade with this guy. If it's just a trade where there's no money, where PayPal can't step in or eBay can't step in and get your money back, ask for, hey, have you ever done a trade with this guy?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've made some purchases and paid friends or family with people but it's been under $5, and just for a couple singles here and there, whatever. No, and the thing is when these brought up, it's always great to have some proof and show like what's going on. And, the thing is don't jump there. I would say a good majority of the people in the community are trustworthy and they're good collectors. It's always like the 10% that ruins it for the 90%, right?
Right.
And if you make a trade with somebody, you're not getting it back. You make a purchase and it hasn't come within the week. A quick DM, hey, what's going on? This went down last week. Is everything all right? That kind of thing. Simple to do. And if you're the one on the other end that got delayed, this happened to me before, where stupid printer ran out of ink when I was printing all this stuff out, right? And so I couldn't send it out that night because I couldn't do it and couldn't go to the store because it was closed. It was late night. So, and it going later the next day. But by the time I got home and printed it all out, it was after 5. So couldn't mail it out that day either. So I went to the following day. And so, it was a quick DM I sent out and just said, hey, listen, hey, I got this is what happened. It went out 2 days later. I apologize. Or if that happens and you get hung up, throw a little something extra in there and, say, hey, sorry for the inconvenience. But it's just one of those things, making it known and having some evidence and talking about it and sharing those experiences. And also, too, when you find someone great to trade with, let's bring that up, too. I mean, like, hey, if you're looking to trade, this is a person to deal with. I see that all the time. Or ask for references. And then a lot of people say, hey, like, do you know this person? Have you done a trade? Would you, do this trade with them? and that, it's always good to do that as well. So
I always try to throw a shout out on Twitter whenever I get, whether it's a trade or a purchase. Because first off, I'm excited that I got these cards, and I want them. That's a good way to let that person know, hey, Stefan sent me these cards. I'm happy. Here they are, and it also lets the community know that Stefan, is a trustworthy guy. That he follows. I'm using you as an example because everybody knows no, but it's just good to build that. And if anybody's out there listening that's questioning a particular person, like Tim said, ask for references. Find somebody that you can trust, and say, hey, have you done any business with them? Have you heard anything? Because, like you said, there's that JMac guy that said he would immediately ask for his money back if anything came in a PWE. And so, I mean, I'm curious to know if he ever bought anything off Sport Lots, because that's the majority of. It's rare to get a bubble mailer off Sport Lots.
Yeah,
it's rare, but that's why you buy off Sport Lots. You're buying inexpensive cards 90+% of the time.
Yeah. Well, I want to move on to a little different topic tonight, but scammers beware. We're watching you. We're going to let you know when we find you. We're going to out you. It'll be easy. Gary V. So anybody know who's Gary V? He's like a motivational speaker. He's a guy that came into the United States in the early 80s as a child and worked his way up to be a multi-millionaire. I think he's worth over like $150 million. Back in, and it was brought to my attention by at Sport Card News or Sports Card Radio, back in February of this year, he has a video. It was like a 10-minute video about sales. And 2 minutes in the video, he says he moved to the United States and could barely afford a pack of 83 tops. And he has a quote. He goes, I was on the phone and I was talking about buying the whole thing. And it was really eye-opening. And then one of the guys in there was the son or nephew of one of the founders of Topps and one of the guys that worked for him. And it kind of went back and forth. It's a good video. I'm going to share the link after the show. But very interesting. And then, so some tweets started coming out the last couple of days from him as well. On 8/19, I might get back into sports card collecting, flipping. On the 20th, I should buy a sports card company. On the 21st, he tweeted he's actually buying 100 PSA 86, 87 Fleer Charles Barkley's PSA 9s. And later on that day, the sports card industry is on the verge. ... So I started to follow him just to see what comes up, and I think here on the screenshot that Steph's showing, Upper Deck tried to reach out to him. We've tried to email you and talk to your team before. You can DM us and we can share some thoughts, some opportunities with you. Very interesting. He's a very entrepreneurial guy, and I think that if he were to get into the hobby, some things might change and some avenues might open up, because some of these guys I don't think have the best liking for each other, and maybe he could be the one to change that. I just want to know your thoughts, because Top says they weren't for sale at the National, but guys, everything's for sale. We know that supposedly, I've heard Panini at one point, Panini America was up for sale. We know that the sticker industry, the stickers kind of keep that afloat and going every 4 years, where they make a shite ton of money. But I just wanted your guys' thoughts on if you thought any rumor would, if this is him just being a rich guy saying, this, or what do you think?
If you look up the investment firm that owns Topps, it's one of the ex-Disney or current
it's
Disney.
Michael Eisner.
Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Disney doesn't like to relinquish what they own. They don't play well with others. And
but Eisner, it's Eisner that owns like 25%. The other 75% is owned by a company, investment company.
Well, sure. But I don't see Topps going anywhere. Panini, they're content with producing baseball and football cards, but like you said, they make their lion's share with the stickers that they produce. And more so, they're overseas. I think they're headquartered in Italy.
Yeah.
Company has bankroll. They don't need to sell anytime soon.
No, I know that's but just my thought. Like so point. Okay, you take those two away. We know that Brian Gray is not going to get rid of Leaf, right?
Probably not. Not unless
So-
he goes back to Razor Entertainment.
Yeah. And so he's not going to buy Press Pass because that's dead, right? So
Right.
what does that leave, guys?
You'd have to almost start your own, which was what I was trying to get at.
You would, because
you pay out Brian Gray and have him on staff. I think that would be the only way that would work.
There's one company we didn't talk about that actually asked wanted to DM him.
I don't see Upper Deck going anywhere though, which is what I was going to say. They make a ton of money off hockey, and the only hockey producer. And yeah, sure, hockey isn't as well known as football and baseball is, but for a certain subset of people in Denver and Minnesota and Boston and somewhat in New York and all of Canada, it's a pretty big release year.
So you have kind of two moving parts from the economical side. One, Tim, you said everything's for sale. Well, it is to a degree. If I told you I'm going to offer you money for all of your cards in your house right now, but the catch is you cannot ever collect cards again. You interested?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start throwing random numbers out: $1,000, $10,000, $50,000. Eventually, I'm gonna get to a number that you're gonna at least raise an eyebrow at and go, "Okay, now I'm listening."
The 50,000 raised my eyebrow.
So it's one of those things. But you never can buy another card ever again. That's the thing. If you're talking about Topps or Upper Deck.
But a business is different. A business is different.
It is, and that's what I'm getting at. Is if you have an individual that owns it, like a Brian Gray, or if you have a sole proprietor or somebody that owns a majority share, it might not be for sale, right? Because if one of us owned Topps, for instance, would we sell it? Well, you would think that we're making enough money to where it's.
But an investment firm owns Topps, owns
but
the majority of
when
Topps.
An investment firm, now it comes down to their portfolio. Are they looking for a return? What are they vested in, and what do they see as? Because a lot of times portfolios are all about diversification. It's about having leverage. It's not necessarily about getting a solid return on the overall investment, but a solid return, per fiduciary year. So it's a whole different scenario. If Topps is turning enough money for the firm, they don't necessarily need to move it. Now, if they're worth $100 million. And somebody comes in and says, "I will offer you 300," and this investment firm is only into this $40 million initially, all of a sudden that sounds really nice.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think the value of Topps is? Just the card side, not the confectionery side with the candy.
Shoot, I don't know. I'd probably say over $100 million. Because it depends. I mean, the license itself has a monetary value, regardless of what they spend on it. Now that it's been extended or will be extended, it's awful attractive.
For what it's worth, these are 2006 numbers. Revenue $317 million, net income $10 million.
So that was 10, 12 years ago. So I would say the company's probably valued around $50 million for the baseball card side.
If you're looking at a $10 million net profit, yeah, usually you go around 4 times what you can make a year. So if you're going based off 2006, if that's steady, then if somebody came to them with a $40 million check, that would be considered.
So what I'm saying is, but they only own about, I think Eisner owns around 20 something odd percent. So if he walked up and said, "Hey, I'm going to buy the from you, and here's your 35 million," and owns a majority, or maybe he just goes in and he buys half that 75%. Now there's they have a 3-way ownership of it. I'm just saying it'd be very interesting to have a guy that has this.
Looks like it's a 50-50 split between the Eisner company and
here's the thing,
the equity firm.
Here's the other thing too. If Gary V is a collector at heart, let's say that you were dropped $10 billion, right? Would you go buy the Kansas City Royals? Would you go buy the Minnesota Twins? Would you overpay for that? That's the thing. Is
how about when Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers?
I was just about to say him with the Clippers. He way overpaid,
which drove the franchise way up.
Yeah, oh yeah. You're sitting in some of these small markets, like here in Sacramento, San Antonio, Milwaukee. Some of these that are good, solid franchises, but on the market they're not going to compete with the LAs and New Yorks. all of a sudden these teams probably gained 50% overall value because Ballmer overpaid for a team that's extremely marketable because of the market that he's in. Was it worth $2 billion? Well, maybe not, but it's one of those things that if Topps was worth $50 million and somebody dropped $1 billion in your lap, would you offer 100 million, 150 million? Because now you're a collector and now you can do this for fun and produce stuff for fun.
And I bring back, we'd be on 87 borders for the end of as long as I owned it.
Yeah. It would be like the top living
793, and that's how the sets would go.
792.
That's the thing. It would be a great day. And if you hate the 87 border, then guess what? You need to find a new hobby. Because that's just what this is.
So, Steph, what are your thoughts? Are Ben and I crazy?
Just from talking with several of the people that work for the actual companies, I would say so. In that it's possible that he actually throws down and buys out one of these companies. However, I don't not necessarily rule out that he couldn't go and buy out some company and start producing and try to make a run at a league license or an individual player license like Brian Gray is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. We'll see if there's any actual.
I really have a feeling
he's not just circling the drain and seeing what he can do.
Yeah, I really have a feeling if he was going to do anything, just kind of based on what I've seen and heard from him, it would be something involved with Topps because it seems like that's what he collects in the past. But it was really funny because someone brought up he wants to buy 100 copies of the PSA versions of the Barkley, and he was going to pay anywhere from $150 to $180, and they're going for the low 200s right now. So, he wants to make a little bit of money on it, but it's about 10% of the actual PSA registry. There's about 1,000 Barkleys that are graded a 9. This was from I was reading someone's tweet. It was about close to 10%, but it's interesting. It reminds me of remember the show Goofy had the cartoon and his son. Anyway, back in the mid 90s, there was the guy that was collecting. Had baseball cards in it, and he was getting the worst card in the set, and he was paying $1 for every one of those cards. And then what he did is he had a big pile of the cards and he lit them on fire, and then he had like the only one left in the world, and that was now the most valuable card in the set because all the other ones had been destroyed. It was just kind of like cornering the market. And it was kind of interesting that if he was going to do that. And he also tweeted out about wanting to collect over 1,000 Sam Darnold rookies and to reach out to him if he had Sam Darnold rookie cards. So it's just one of those things like, hey, go out and just invest in one guy and go kind of crazy. And Barkley is a Hall of Famer, and that's an iconic set. And he's not the most expensive guy. He's a reasonable buy at $200. So
right.
But it's interesting. It's interesting now that Leaf wasn't it Leaf or was it Panini that just signed the exclusive? Panini just signed an exclusive with Barkley, and all of a sudden now here's a guy with deep pockets.
That old noodle.
You gotta use your
Conspiracy
noggin.
theories. Our next episode, conspiracy theories about the cards.
Yeah, that's right. And
After Dark.
we're gonna sing some Four Seasons, which is
The
a
After
reference
Dark
to,
episode.
which is a reference to the Mel Gibson movie where they sing some Four Seasons.
That's a really good movie, by the way. Very underrated. So we want to go to a topic that we haven't hit recently, but definitely one of our favorites, Spotlight. Welcome to the Spotlight. It's nice and warm. Come in and gather.
Bring your bottle of Cavassier.
Yeah, and turn down the lights. And
you gotta put on your microphone to that deep voice that you have every once in a while.
There we go with my baby voice. Let's get deep down in our thoughts here and talk Twitter follows. Ben, who's somebody you want to put the spotlight on Twitter tonight?
My buddy Jason Longwith. You can find him at JK Longwith, spelled JKLONGWITH. Jason hits me up all the time in DMs with different A's cards that he's pulled. I've recently completed a Twitter trade with him. I traded my money, and he gave me as an A and G back of Canseco from Ginter. Some Ginter Canseco card that I didn't have that I wanted. But Jason's a really good dude. He always hits me up and says, "Hey, I got these A's cards. You interested?" And likes to talk about the hobby, on Twitter. Retweets a lot of stuff. He's a good guy. Solid follow if you don't know him yet. And for me, he calls out all the ace cards for me. So I'm sure if you have a favorite team or a favorite player, I'm sure he would be more than happy to go through his collection, or as he pulls stuff out of packs, kind of say, hey, this is what I just pulled. You interested? And so, yeah, definitely one to follow if you're not already following him.
Definitely. I second that. I definitely second that. Good dude. Steph, who's your guy? Who's your Twitter follow you want to put the spotlight on tonight?
My Twitter follow. Sorry, not getting deep voiced. I haven't had any whiskey yet. So
might help your victory come in.
Maybe. So, do you guys like opening packs?
I always like opening packs.
You do then? Okay. So the person that I'm recommending has a program where for $20 a month, and you pick your sport, you get multiple hobby packs plus supplies plus some candy plus bonuses in the individual sports. Jake's a really cool guy. I've talked to him several nationals in a row now. Helped him score a really nice Diamond Kings box. I think he pulled a Syndergaard out of 5. I'm seriously hot with Diamond Kings, guys.
We talked about that at the LCS on Saturday. We'll share it after you talk about the lead here.
Multiple tiers, so a certain amount of for those that don't have a blaster or retail store location nearby, it's a great idea. And, sometimes you don't want the hassle of going to the store and then you've got to find individual sleeves for your cards. He includes all of that in the box. Super cool guy, super nice program he's got going on. Check him out. It's
also
the
good
Loot Locker. And good gifts idea, exactly. With the holidays coming up and my birthday is at the end of September, guys. Throwing it out there. With all of that coming up, definitely. He's got football, hockey, baseball, different tiers. It's worthy of checking him out. And, he's not just a quote unquote locker hawker. He'll also chat with you just as right. He knows a lot about Ultra Pro. He's worked their booth at the National the last several years in a row. It's something that I wanted to share that's out there, that's an option for people. And Joel really couldn't be a nicer guy. So
that's awesome. And again, this isn't an infomercial, but no, we're letting you know good folks to follow. I definitely have followed him, and I've heard on other podcasts, the story behind Loot Locker. It sounds really cool. And one of those things where it's a subscription thing, you kind of sign up and keep it as long as you want, change around the value. If you've ever watched Darren Ravel, he does that as well. And he opens those up, which is cool to check out and see. My follow tonight is close to my heart at Tops Living Stat. So this is a great Twitter follow. So we're kind of kindred spirits. We've talked about him before. Shares a lot of information about positions in outfield, like outfielders that are in in the Tops Living set. He breaks it down a bunch of different ways. Which is really, really cool. And so we kind of shared information back and forth. And when Topps releases the numbers from last week and the new cards for this week, we're always getting tagged. And just really good. If you like Topps Living, you got to follow it. It's awesome. And there's almost daily new information that he shares, which is great. I don't even know the name of the gentleman or even the gal running it. But
out yourself.
What's up?
I said, out yourself. Admit who it is.
Yeah, let's know. Share. But I wanted to put that warm spotlight on at Tops Living Stat.
Well, he or she broke out a new thing this week with contests, trying to pick some of the teams that had not been represented, like the Giants and Twins and Royals, and said, create a 3-card release. But his rule was you can only pick somebody that hasn't been picked yet. So it got a little convoluted there, but his first time, and he had a little bit of fun with it. It's kind of fun to see what combinations people came up with.
Somebody mentioned George Brett, and I got real excited.
Yeah, that didn't
I don't know how many of those I would buy when it come out. I just say, Jake, just buy them all.
Well, according to what Nishak, he bought $8,000 of his own. So that's the barometer.
Yeah.
I expect you to go more.
And real quick, just a little side infomercial. The person you need to be buying your Tops Living from at Twins Jake.
Yep.
And the reason being is that he sells them for $5 and ships them to you. And they always come, nicely packaged. It's a PW, but it's secure. It's good. I've gotten almost all of my Tops Living rookies from him. But he looks for chipping on the black ones, the ones in the names down the corners have the chipping, and sends them back. And I asked him today because Walker Bueller hasn't come yet. And I got Brian Anderson today, and Bueller had some damages, and so he reached back out, and he's getting new ones replaced, and he'll be sending those out. So if you're going to buy them from him, I look like today. I said I already bought 2 bows and 2 right here as we're showing the Derek Rodriguez. Already bought them, so great.
And if you do it through Twitter, he'll save you a few pennies.
Yeah,
I think he's got a Twitter special where it's like 25 or 50 cents cheaper if you do it with friends and family, and he's somebody that we've reached out to about possibly having as a guest someday to kind of talk about his business model and why he chose to do both Tops Now and Tops Living.
Yeah.
So
some of the Throwback Thursdays, and I saw a tweet that there's going to be a short release of an Acuna and Albies dual auto coming out tomorrow because they both are both 20 and hit 20 home runs. And so these platinum dealers get a heads up on that. So it's going to be interesting to see that. So a good follow as well if you want to just get some inside info on some of the print to order stuff the Tops does. Which is cool. So as we end the show tonight, our normal hour show has gone almost to an hour and a half here. But remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. And make sure to subscribe and review on YouTube on our show on YouTube and iTunes, and let us know how we're doing. And the reason we're asking is that once we hit 100 followers on YouTube, we're currently at 56 as we started the show off tonight. We're going to give away a set of Tops Living for that week. So the week that we hit 100 YouTube followers, whatever set it is, we're gonna get a Tops Living set, and we're gonna send it out to you once we physically get it in our hands, and we'll get it out to you. So
now, are you randoming that, or are you giving it or giving it away towards the 100th person?
We're gonna take the first 100 followers, and we're gonna do a little random.org action.
Seems to be the best way to do it.
Yeah, the top one will come out, and I might have a couple things else to throw in there to give away.
Sure.
As I look around, and I have 9 billion cards that I bought today. I'm going to go through, which I already found like 5 or 6 Jeters in really good condition. So just random insert Jeters, which are always cool. But no, we'll figure some stuff out. Maybe we'll give a handful of prizes away. But the grand prize, I think, is going to be that Tops Living set for the first 100 followers, and let us know and spread the word. We're going to put it out tonight on the old Twitter machine and let everybody know. And we appreciate it, guys. I mean, I think we're at over 340 followers on Twitter, which grows leaps and bounds. And the YouTube followers really in the last few weeks has jumped up too. We definitely appreciate it. I don't think we can say it enough. So thank you very much. Some people have told us, like last week, we got all excited because hey, this is the best one. I love this podcast. This is the one this is my go-to whenever I see a new episode. I skip over other things I've started to listen to. So thank you so much. You can always follow us on Twitter about the cards. You can always follow Ben at our Trading Cards OUR, and always follow Stefan at Junk Wax Twins and myself at Big Shep 79. Guys,
one more before you sign off. Next week's show, you want to announce next week's show?
That's what I was going to get to. So
okay, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I apologize. I love you.
Hey, you'll just get your beatings later. I was gonna follow up with a quick note. So normally we're Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and I just said all that. Next week we're going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. And the reason being is that I have a really important fantasy draft that happened on Wednesday night, and I tried to move it, but I was the one of 2 guys that asked, that wanted to do it on Thursday versus Wednesday. So we had to go with the majority. So I will be doing that, but we will be back.
We'll need a guest host because if it's for a fantasy draft, we're definitely doing it Wednesday.
Hey, it's a big dog. Hey, if you want to do it without me, that's fine. You guys can put it together. I even volunteered that, but I didn't want to do it on Tuesday because I didn't want to miss out on the Tops Living stuff. I think that's kind of been like a highlight segment for us. So if you guys don't mind, Thursday night at 8 p.m. we'll be on, but we'll go back to our regular schedule. We missed a Wednesday for someone's birthday because whatever. Birthdays come every year. So
yeah, and my girl Jenny gave me a birthday package. Oh, I think Tim did too. So
yeah, you got it on Saturday.
That's right, I did.
But,
couple of McGuire rookies, your presents, breakfast.
Yeah.
But did you have to pay this time?
I didn't have to buy breakfast. No, I just bought breakfast for myself. Everybody was a big boy and bought their own. I did,
this time.
So we had a good time. But no, guys, like I said, I love you all. So let's keep it up. We're at show 10. I only made like our little header on YouTube when you see like when the shows post and you get your little cover picture. I only went up to episode 10, so I guess I need to get to work and make some more episodes because I didn't know how long this was going to last. I figure 10's a lot. Like that's a big number. So
we didn't even know if we were going to like each other after the first episode.
What's up?
Ben said we didn't even know if we were going to like each other, and I said, I mean, yeah, that's what, 2 months now, going on 3.
Yeah, I mean, we did skip a week with the 4th of July, but we did have an episode 0, so this is really kind of like 11.
I mean, 2 months. I've had marriages that have lasted longer and less on both sides, and this is kind of like a milestone.
It is. It feels good though.
This is like my second longest relationship.
I mean, third.
Yeah, I don't know if that. Yeah. Oh. Anyway,
okay, on that note, let's call it a night.
All right, fellas. Hey, everybody, have a great evening. Again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday with a full episode of About the Cards with all of us, and share your thoughts with us. But we'll talk soon, and follow us on YouTube and help win a set of 2018 Tops Living. One of those random weeks coming up. So see you next time.
There'll probably be a Coven that week.
Yeah, always covering the Yankee. Good night, everybody.